Magandang araw po mga minamahal na mga kapatid. Tayo po ay magpapatuloy sa ating ginagawa na pag-aaral na may kinalaman po sa katanungan na ito. Ano ang official stand ng SDA Church ukol sa military service during the American Civil War? Ito po ang ating sasagutin na katanungan. Kaya po, kailangan na bigyan natin ito ng pansin sapagkat noong nakalipas po na pag-aaral o comparative study between SDARM and SDA ay lumitaw po itong katanungan na ito. Pagkatapos ng aking first presentation doon sa panahon ng tanungan ay naitanong ito kung ano ang official stand ng SDA Church ukol sa military service during the American Civil War. Okay, so, kaya po, lumitaw yung katanungan na ito dahil doon sa aking presentation ay aking ibinigay na ang Seventh-day Adventists noong 1865 ay nagkaroon ng official position with regards to military service. Ito po ay napublish sa Review and Herald, May 23, 1865. Ito po ay resolution ng General Conference Delegation. Sabi nila, resolved that while we thus cheerfully render to Caesar the things which the Scriptures show to be his, we are compelled to decline all participation in acts of war and bloodshed, as being inconsistent with the duties enjoined upon us by our Divine Master toward our enemies and toward all mankind. Yan po mga kapatid. Noong binigay ko po ito bilang kasagutan doon sa tanong na ano ang official stand ng church. Binasa ko ito, lumitaw ang tanong na nagsasabi, ano ang ibinigay kay Austin Blair, Governor ng Michigan, na official stand ng SDA Church? Kasi dito sa resolution, wala naman sinabi dito na ang kanilang stand ay non-combatant. Wala. Ang stand nila dito is, we are compelled to decline all participation in acts of war and bloodshed. So, meron na po silang na-define na kanilang position at hindi nila ginamit yung word na non-combatant. Okay. Kundi non-participation in acts of war and bloodshed. Kaya tinanong sa akin ni Brother Bressy, kung yun bang position na ito, yung wordings na ganito, ito ba yung sinubmit daw nila doon sa government? Specifically, minention niya, ito ba yung sinubmit nila doon kay Austin Blair na siyang governor ng Michigan nung araw? Okay. Yun po ang kanilang tanong sa akin. At sinabi ko na batay doon sa mabasa sa kanilang sulat ay hindi ganyan. Hindi non-participation in acts of war and bloodshed ang sinabi nila doon. Pero ang sabi nila ay conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Yan. At binasa ko po itong sinabi dito sa Seventh-day Adventists in time of war. Ito po yung sulat ng General Conference Committee noong August 2, 1864. Sabi po kasi dito, the denomination of Christians calling themselves Seventh-day Adventists, taking the Bible as the rule of faith and practice, are unanimous in their views that its teachings are contrary to the spirit and practice of war. Hence, they have ever been conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. So yun po yung kanilang position na isinubmit doon sa government. Okay. Ah, pagkatapos na binasa ko ito, sinabi ko na ang stand ng SDA na sinubmit nila sa government ay hindi non-participation in war, kundi conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Pero pinaliwanag ko rin na itong statement na yon, na ito, na conscientiously opposed to bearing arms, should be understood in the context of the GC resolution na sabi nila na we are compelled to decline all participations in acts of war. Pero pagkatapos na sinabi ko ito ay nabanggit ko doon na pag sinabi na conscientiously opposed to bearing arms, ibig sabihin na non-participation in war ang ibig sabihin. Kasi nga, yung sinulat nila, siyempre, nagbase sila doon sa GC resolution. Alangan naman na mag-formulate sila ng statement na labag doon. So, meaning to say, yung kanilang na-submit doon sa government, yung concept na ng conscientiously opposed to bearing arms is the same with the concept of non-participation in war. Tapos nabanggit ko na it means pacifist. Yan. Dito po nagkaroon ng disagreement sa panahon ng tanungan. Dahil sabi po ni Brother Bracey na non-combatant ang kanilang sinubmit na stand kay Austin Blair, hindi pacifist. Yon ang malino na sinabi niya. At dinagdag niyang paliwanag na kung ang intention daw ng kanilang sulat na yon na conscientiously opposed to bearing arms, ay kung ang ibig sabihin nun ay pacifist, dapat hindi daw ganon ang wordings. Dapat ang ilagay daw nila na wording is conscientiously opposed to war, not conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Kasi magkaiba daw yung pacifist at saka combatant. Okay, yan ang kanyang paliwanag. So, in short, sinasabi niya na kung pacifist, dapat conscientiously opposed to war ang nandun sana. Pero dahil ang sabi ay conscientiously opposed to bearing arms, kaya ibig sabihin daw na combatant ang kanilang position, hindi pacifist. Ngayon, meron siyang binasa doon sa kanyang slide na ginagamit niya na patunay na yun daw sinubmit ng GC committee doon kay Austin Blair ay malinaw na ang binanggit nila doon na official stand nila ay non-combatant, hindi daw pacifist. Okay. Tapos, dito yung slide na binasa niya, ganito ang sabi. The Adventist leadership moved swiftly in seeking government recognition of their non-combatant position, declaring themselves a people unanimously loyal and anti-slavery, but unable to shed blood because of their views of the Ten Commandments and teachings of the New Testament. So dito, ang linaw kasi dito na sinasabi na the Adventist leadership moved swiftly in seeking governmental recognition of their non-combatant position. Okay. So, pinapalabas na yung sinubmit nila na sulat, ay sinasabi nila na ang aming stand ay non-combatant. Kaya gusto namin na i-recognize ninyo yung aming stand. Kaya nga, ang wordings dito is, the Adventist leadership moved swiftly in seeking governmental recognition of their non-combatant position. Ayan, so, pinapalabas ni Brother Bracey na ang sinubmit nila talaga na position is non-combatant position. Okay? At yon ay nakalagay daw doon sa sulat nila kay Austin Blair. At sabi niya, that is a public document. Okay. Tapos idinugtong niya ito na ito ang yung parang nag-convince ba sa aking isipan na parang totoo nga na ang isinabmit nila ay non-combatant, yung binanggit nila na stand. Kasi dito sa next slide, sabi niya, binasa dito, the change in the law renders it necessary that we take a more public stand in the matter. For this reason, we now lay before Your Excellency, open and close parenthesis, Austin Blair, Governor of the State of Michigan, the sentiments of Seventh-day Adventists as a body relative to bearing arms, trusting that you will feel no hesitation in endorsing our claim that as a people, we come under the intent of the late action of Congress concerning those who are conscientiously opposed to bearing arms and are entitled to the benefits of the said law. Okay. At dahil na-remember ko, na-realize ko, nabasa ko yun, that this portion is a part of the letter sent by the committee to Austin Blair. At dahil idinugtong niya yung una kanina na statement, the Adventist leadership moved swiftly in seeking governmental recognition of their non-combatant position. Akala ko, itong dito, ang pumasok sa isip ko, itong nakasulat dito, is part of the letter. Okay. Kaya sabi ko na, sige, kung saan man nakasulat yan, kung nakasulat man yan, is i-examine muna natin. Gusto namin pag-aralan muna natin at i-check natin yung veracity or authenticity o kaya yung i-verify natin kung totoo ba yan na yun na ang laman ng sulat. Okay? So, doon na siya nagsabi na, so ibig sabihin, hanging pa ito sa inyo. Hindi pa kayo settled dito. So, hindi na ako magtatanong kasi useless na magtatanong ako tungkol dito na hindi pa pala settle sa inyo yan. Hanging pa pala sa inyo. Ayun. So, doon na-stop na yung aming yung question and answer tungkol dito sa original position ng SDA Church. So, dahil dito sa ganito na senaryo, nung natapos yung aming comparative study, siyempre na-challenge yung asking isip. Iniisip ko nga na kung totoo yun na talagang yun ang kanilang na-submit na official position at talagang mababasa naman ayon doon sa kanyang slide, ay siyempre ako naman, pagka nabasa at merong totoong ebidensya, hindi ako lumalaban. Ako'y tumatanggap at kapag ako'y nagkamali, umaamin ako ng pagkakamali. Kaya sa previous na video natin ay sinabi ko na I was then ready to make a public apology once na napatunayan ko na talagang doon sa sulat ay nabanggit yung non-combatant, binanggit talaga nila non-combatant na yun ang kanilang posisyon. Okay. So, ngayon, papakita ko yung full na sulat. Meron akong nakuha na yung talagang old, talaga yung na picture, photocopy ng sulat na naipublish nila. I-share ko sa inyo para mabasa din ninyo. So, tignan nyo sa screen, no? Sabi dito, State of Principles of Seventh-day Adventists. The following is the statement laid by the General Conference Committee before the Governor, August 3, 1864. To His Excellency, Austin Blair, Governor of Michigan, we, the undersigned Executive Committee of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, respectfully beg leave to present for your consideration the following statements. The denomination of Christians calling themselves Seventh-day Adventists, taking the Bible as the rule of faith and practice, are unanimous in their views that its teachings are contrary to the spirit and practice of war. Hence, they have ever been conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. If there is any portion of the Bible which we as a people can point to more than another as our creed, it is the law of 10 Commandments, which we regard as the supreme law, and each precept of which we take in its most obvious and literal import. The fourth of these commandments requires cessation from labor on the seventh day of the week. The sixth prohibits the taking of life, neither of which, in our view, could be observed while doing military duty. Our practice has uniformly been consistent with these principles. Hence, our people have not felt free to enlist in the service. In none of our denominational publications have we advocated or encouraged the practice of bearing arms. And when drafted, rather than violate our principles, we have been content to pay and assist each other in paying the $300 commutation money. And while that provision remained of universal application, we did not deem any public expression of our sentiments on this question called for. We would further represent that Seventh-day Adventists are rigidly anti-slavery, loyal to the government, and in sympathy with it against the rebellion. But not having had a long existence as a distinct people, and our organization having but recently been perfected, our sentiments are not yet extensively known. The change in the law renders it necessary that we take a more public stand in the matter. For this reason, we now lay before Your Excellency the sentiments of Seventh-day Adventists as a body relative to bearing arms, trusting that you will feel no hesitation in endorsing our claim that as a people we come under the intent of the late action of Congress concerning those who are conscientiously opposed to bearing arms and are entitled to the benefits of said laws. Okay, signed, John Byington, J.N. Loughborough, J.U.W. Amadon. Okay, Battle Creek, Michigan, August 2, 1864. Okay, so yan po yung position nila. At mapapansin nyo, binasa ko po yung buo from the beginning to the end. Wala pong binabanggit dito na katulad nung nasa slide na sinasabi doon na they are seeking governmental recognition of their non-combatant position. Wala pong nag-appear doon na ganyan na wording sa kanilang sulat. Pero ang malinaw po doon ay sinabi nila na they are conscientiously opposed to the bearing of arms. At yun na nga po yung binasa ko doon sa actrinesen ko sa aking slide, na kino-question niya. Okay. So, dito sa sulat ng GC Committee kay Austin Blair ay walang mababasa na non-combatant na word. Walang sinabi ang GC Committee na ang stand namin as a religious body ay non-combatant. And we want a recognition of our non-combatant position. Wala pong ganun na sinabi sa sulat. Okay. So, yung binigay niya na definition ng nasabing non-combatancy is hindi po ito yung sinasabi nila na kanilang position. Sabi kasi sa definition na sinubmit ng kapatid na non-combatancy, the term non-combatant service shall mean service in any unit of the armed forces which is unarmed at all times. Service in the medical department of any of the armed forces wherever performed, or any other assignment of the primary function of which does not require the use of arms in combat, provided that such other assignment is acceptable to the individual concerned and does not require them to bear arms or to be trained in their use. So, ito yung definition ng non-combatant. Pero tandaan natin na doon sa resolution, hindi nila sinabi na ito ang position nila na non-combatant. Doon din sa sulat nila kay Austin Blair, hindi rin nila sinabi na we are non-combatant in this sense, sa ganito na category. Okay. At sabi niya na non-combatant daw talaga yung sinubmit nila, hindi pacifist. Kasi pag pacifist, hindi daw humahawak ng baril talaga. Pero yung non-combatant is sumasama sa gira, kaya lang hindi daw humahawak o gumagamit ng baril. Hindi gumagamit ng baril pampatay o hindi humahawak ng baril, unarmed, sabi niya. Okay. Pero tandaan natin, yung Seventh-day Adventists, they did not take their stand as non-combatant. They did not submit their position paper as non-combatant. Wala po silang sinabi na non-combatant. Ang malinaw, they are conscientiously opposed to bearing arms, and in context, ayon sa decision ng GC resolution is non-participation in acts of war and bloodshed. Yun po yung background doon. Okay. So, meron pang isang sulat. Maliban dito sa kanilang sulat kay Austin Blair, meron pa silang isang sulat. At this time naman ay doon sa Governor of Wisconsin ang kanilang sinulatan. Ang pangalan naman ng governor doon is James Lewis. Gusto kong i-share din dito. Yung sulat nila. Similar ang wordings, pero not exactly the same. Yung sulat, no? Sabi dito. To the Governor of Wisconsin, to His Excellency James T. Lewis, Governor of Wisconsin. We, the undersigned Executive Committee of the Illinois and Wisconsin State Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, subject to the direction of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists of the Battle Creek, Michigan, beg leave to present the following for your consideration. Number 1, that there is under your jurisdiction a religious denomination known as Seventh-day Adventists and legally organized for the worship of Almighty God, taking the Bible as the rule of faith and practice, and are unanimous in their views that its teachings are contrary to the spirit and practice of war. Hence, they have ever been conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Number 2, our practice has uniformly been consistent with these principles. Hence, our people have not felt free to enlist into the service. In none of our denominational publication have we advocated or encouraged the practice of bearing arms. And when drafted, rather than violate our principles, we have been content to pay and assist each other in paying the $300 commutation money. And while that provision remained of universal application, we did not consider a public expression of our sentiment necessary. Number 3, we would further add that all Seventh-day Adventists are perfectly loyal and in sympathy with the government in putting down this wicked rebellion. Number 4, but not having existed long as a distinct people and our organization having not recently been perfected, our sentiments are not extensively known. The change in the law renders it necessary that we take a more public stand in this matter. For this reason, we now lay before Your Excellency the sentiments of Seventh-day Adventists as a body relative to bearing arms, trusting you will feel no hesitation in endorsing our claim that as a people we come under the intent of the late Act of Congress concerning those conscientiously opposed to bearing arms and are entitled to the benefits of said laws. Your obedient servants, Isaac Sanborn, Joseph G. Wood, H.W. Decker, Executive Committee ng Illinois and Wisconsin State Conference. Okay, so Illinois and Wisconsin State Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, yung committee na yon na sumulat. At kung papansinin nyo dito, sa sulat din ng committee, ay wala din pong sinabi na ang stand ng SDA Church ay non-combatant. Kundi ang sinabi nila, conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Yan po talaga ang kanilang stand. At yun po yung pinapaliwanag ko doon sa panahon ng comparative study na that is really the position of the Seventh-day Adventists na sinubmit nila sa government. Ngayon, na-clarify ko na kasi na-confuse ako noon. Present yung slide na lumalabas na parang mali yata o something missing. Hindi ko nakita yung buo. Okay. So ngayon, na-clarify ko na hindi pala non-combatant per se ang kanilang sinubmit na position doon sa government, kundi consensuously opposed to bearing arms. Kaya mukhang pakiramdam ko ay nadaya tayo mga kapatid. No? Pinaniwala tayo ni Brother Brescio Balansag Jr. ng stand ng SDA Church General Conference na kanilang sinubmit kay Austin Blair ay non-combatant. Pero hindi pala yun. Hindi rin pacifist, hindi non-combatant, kundi consensuously opposed to bearing arms. Kaya ngayon, dahil ganun naman na ang position na kanilang binigay, consensuously opposed to bearing arms. Pag ang isang SDA ay na-draft sa military, alin sa dalawang category siya ilalagay ayon sa US draft law? Sa US draft law kasi, ganito mga kapatid, may dalawang category, combatant at saka non-combatant. Yun lang yung dalawang option eh. Ilalagay ka sa category ng combatant o ilalagay ka sa category ng non-combatant. Yun kasi ang available na category ayon sa batas. Either ikaw ay combatant o non-combatant. So, ang isang Seventh-day Adventist, kapag na ang prinsipyo niya is consensuously opposed to bearing arms o non-participation in acts of war and bloodshed, pagpunta siya doon sa government, pagka na-draft siya, saan siya ngayon ilalagay? Saan siya ilalagay na category? Okay. Ayon sa batas ng US, basahin natin doon siya papasok sa Section 17 na yung mga tao, religious people o kaya social organizations na ang kanilang conviction o stand na talagang yun ang kanilang aral na pinaninindigan ay consensuously opposed to bearing arms, doon sila ilalagay sa category ng non-combatant. Hindi doon sa category ng combatant. So, ganun po yun ang kanilang ang proseso. I-share ko sa inyo, sabi dito, sa sulat ni James Fry. Ito naman si James Fry, sumulat kay Richard Yates, Governor of Illinois. Ganito ang kanyang sinabi. Sir, I have the honor to return herewith papers in case of certain applicants for benefit of provisions of Section 17, Act February 24, 1864, referred by you to the Honorable Secretary of War, and by him referred to this office, and in reply would state that the section and act referred to provided fully for such cases. It is as follows. So, yun yung provision ng law. And be it further enacted that members of religious denominations who shall by oath or affirmation declare that they are conscientiously opposed to the bearing of arms and who are prohibited from doing so by the rules and articles of faith and practice of said religious denomination shall, when drafted into the military service, be considered non-combatants and shall be assigned by the Secretary of War to duty in the hospitals or to the care of freedmen, or shall pay the sum of $300 to such person as the Secretary of War shall designate to receive it, to be applied to the benefit of the sick and wounded soldiers, provided that no person shall be entitled to the benefit of the provisions of this section unless his declaration of conscientious scruples against bearing arms shall be supported by satisfactory evidence that his deportment have been uniformly consistent with such declaration. Such persons must present their claims to the Board of Enrollment of the district in which they reside, who will hear the evidence required by provisions of said section and act. I have the honor to be, sir, very respectfully, your obedient servant, James B. Fry, Provost Marshal General. Okay. So, ito na-cite nila yung talagang nakasulat doon sa kanilang draft law. Sabi dito, Section 17 ng Act February 24, 1864, na yung mga religious, not only Seventh-day Adventists, Quakers, Seventh-day Adventists, or any religious organizations na ang kanilang doktrina, principles of faith, is they are consensuously opposed to bearing of arms. Doon sila ilalagay sa kategory ng non-combatant. So yung non-combatant, it is a provision of the law that would accommodate consensus objectors. Okay? So yung mga consensus objectors na yon, doon sila ilalagay sa categories. At meron silang option na pwedeng gawin doon. Okay? Una, sabi doon na they can be assigned to care for the freed slaves, pwedeng sa hospital, pwede naman silang magbayad. Ibig sabihin, yung mga religious organization na yung total consensus objection, meaning to say, total na anti-war, non-participation in war, pasok sila sa non-combatant. Bakit? Kung papasok sila doon sa non-combatant, hindi sila mag-care ng mga hindi sila mag-care sa mga may sakit, hindi doon sa hospital duty, hindi rin sila doon sa care of the slaves, kundi doon sila magbabayad sa payment. Magbabayad na lang sila para ma-exempt sila doon. Kapag sila ay total consensus objectors, meaning hindi talaga sila mag-participate sa war. Okay. Yun po, doon sila makapasok. May option sa kanila. Kaya non-combatant pa rin yung category nila kahit na sila ay total consensus objector, meaning non-participation in acts of war talaga. Hindi talaga sila pupunta, makipaggira, hindi sila makipag-training, ganun. Magbabayad na lang sila. Ma-exempt na sila. Hindi na sila kailangan na punta sa hospital, hindi na sila kailangan na mag-care ng sick. Pero doon sa mga hindi total consensus objectors na pwedeng sumali sa training, pwedeng sa medical, pwedeng mag-ano doon, pasok pa rin sila sa kategory ng non-combatant. Kasi meron silang pwedeng gawin doon. Okay. Yan po ang paglilinaw dito. So, yung hindi po itong batas na ito, hindi may lugar pa rin, may puwang yung mga total consensus objectors. Ibig sabihin, yung talagang non-participation in war, ang kanilang doktrina, they will still come under the category of non-combatant. Yun po ang kailangan maintindihan natin. Kasi pinapalabas sa kabila na pag nalagay ka doon sa non-combatant category ng government, ibig sabihin is hindi ka total consensus objector. Hindi ka total consensus objector. Hindi ka total nga non-participation in war. Pero hindi naman pala ganun. Kung ikaw ay total consensus objector, which is the position of the SDA Church, ayon sa resolution, tsaka doon sa sinulat nila, they are still placed under the category of non-combatant. Bakit? Kasi meron silang option doon na maipractice nila yung kanilang belief. Ano yung option nila doon? Hindi pupunta sa hospital duties, hindi magpunta sa ang tawag dito, care of the freemen, doon sila magbayad sa $300. Parang total na exemption. Yan po, kailangan maintindihan natin yan. Okay? So, batay sa legal classification ng US draft law, sa anong category pasok ang stand ng SDA Church na conscientiously opposed to bearing arms at decline all participation in acts of war and bloodshed? Okay, linawin natin. Ang sagot ay, ang mga sumasali sa war ay may dalawang category batay sa draft law. Combatant and non-combatant. Walang third separate category tulad ng pacifist. Kasi at that time, the word pacifist did not even exist. The word pacifist was first used in 1902. Okay. The stand which is to decline all participation in acts of war and bloodshed and conscientiously opposed to bearing arms, which is the stand of the SDA Church, na total non-participation in war ay pasok pa rin under the category of non-combatant. Okay. Pasok doon. Bakit? Dahil alam nila na kung sasali ka sa gera, ma-violate mo yung 4th and 6th commandment. Kaya nga, total non-participation in war ang kanilang pinili. Okay. Kasi kung sasama ka, halimbawa, sasama ka doon doon ka sa hospital, o kaya doon ka sa Red Cross, halimbawa, sa Red Cross, makaka-violate ka talaga doon sa commandments of God. Okay, hindi ka man papatay, pero sabit ka sa Sabado. Sabit ka sa Sabado during war. Sabi nila, meron namang pinaprocess naman, tinutulungan ng church para ma-exempt. Yan ay sa panahon ng training. Pero sa panahon ng actual war, hindi na yan mangyayari. Kasi sa war, hindi ka naman pwedeng magpapahinga. Pag humingi ka ng exemption, walang exemption yan na ibibigay because that is an state of emergency and the government will not recognize any of that. Okay. Yan po mga kapatid. Kaya, yun talagang stand ng, original stand ng SDA is non-participation in war. Total consensus objection. Okay. Pero, they are still under the government category of non-combatant because there is a provision for them na hindi sila sasali provided na magbayad sila ng $300. There is para bang escape route para pwede silang ma-under doon. Okay? So, ang conclusion natin ganito. Tungkol doon sa official stand ng SDA Church. Ang katotohanan na ibinigay ng Diyos sa SOP para sa mga SDA, ayon sa Testimonies Volume 1, page 361, is they cannot engage in war because it is opposed to every principles of their faith. They cannot keep the Sabbath. They cannot also keep the 6th commandment pag sumali sila in time of war. And kaya yon ang binigay na light. Number 2, ang stand ng SDA-GC ayon sa kanilang 1865 resolution ay, we are compelled to decline all participation in acts of war and bloodshed. Yan po. Hindi matatawaran yan. Nakasulat yan. Hindi na mabubura yan. Yan talaga. And number 3, ang stand ng SDA-GC ayon sa sinabmit nila kay Governor Austin Blair at Governor James Lewis noong 1864 ay conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Okay. Hindi nila sinabi na hindi nila ginamit yung word na combatant, non-combatant, or pacifist. Wala silang sinabi na ganun, na description of their position. So, ngayon, ang ginamit nila sa sulat, sa dalawang sulat na binigay nila kay Austin Blair at Governor Lewis, is conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Yan po ang kanilang position. Which means, total non-participation in war ayon sa GC resolution. Okay? Pero yung position na yun, pasok sila doon sa classification ng non-combatant. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na ayon doon sa definition ng non-combatant, bakit sila pasok doon? Kasi may option doon sa non-combatant na applicable sa kanila. Ano yung option sa available doon sa non-combatant category na available sa kanila? Yung pagbabayad pagbabayad ng commutation money para sila ay hindi makasali. Hindi sila makasali sa hospital duty, hindi sila makasali sa care of the sick, kundi ma-escapean nila yon by paying the 300 commutation price. At ang tanong, ano ang pinili nila? Sabi ng kabila, pinili daw nila yung dalawang una, care of the freed slaves at saka care of the duties in hospital. Pero ayon sa record, ang pinili nila is to pay the commutation price. Paano natin malaman na ganun ang kanilang pinili? Dahil yun ang kanilang request eh. Balikan natin yung statement. Sabi dito, when drafted, rather than violate our principles, we have been content to pay and assist each other in paying the 300 commutation money. Sabi ng kabila, isipin mo naman, Brother Peter, ang laki-laki ng $300 na yan. Ang laki-laki yan. Mahirap yan bayaran. Totoo yan na malaki noong araw na yon. Pero, sabi nila dito, na we have been content to pay. Nakontento sila na babayaran yon. At yung walang maibabayad, they are to assist each other in paying. Kaya nag-organize actually ang Seventh-day Adventist ng fundraising sa mga members para meron silang ibabayad doon sa lahat walang exemption. Lahat ng able-bodied people, Adventist na madraft, babayaran nila. Kinuwenta na nila kung ilan yung possible na pwedeng ma-recruit, mapilit sa draft. Kinuwenta nila yung magkaano, and then kinuwenta din nila kung magkaano ang pwedeng i-contribute ng isa. And then they believe na pag lahat ay nagbigay ayon doon sa plano, yan po ay kaya nilang bayaran ang lahat ng mga madraft na Seventh-day Adventist doon sa Amerika para walang pupunta sa, there is no need for any Adventist draftee na makapunta doon sa hospital duty o kaya doon sa care of the slaves, because they will produce enough money to pay for them. Yan po mga kapatid. At yan po ang nangyari. So, yan yung binasa natin, yung conclusion, no? Ito ang tandaan natin mga kapatid. Ang common idea ng mga SDAs sa non-combatancy noon ay pareho sa idea ng pacifist actually. Ito yung kino-question kasi sa akin sinasabi ko na nga ng idea nila sa non-combatant, pag sumali sila ay pacifist. Ini-insist ng kabila na hindi kasi non-combatant, iba sa pacifist. Kaya lininaw ko kanina yung kahit pa pacifist na completely non-participation in war, pero they can still fall under the category of non-combatant. Kasi yung non-combatant, that is a label ng government. Hindi yun label ng church sa kanilang doktrina. Label ng government, batay doon sa kanilang draft law. Doon ipapasok, doon ma-under yung mga, kahit yung mga total non-participation in war, total consensus objector, pasok sila doon sa category. Yun po ang ating tandaan. No? Kagaya lang ng parang parehas. Kahit merong sabihin natin technically, there is a difference between non-combatant and pacifist. Pero ang idea is in practice the same yan. Katulad lang ng nangyari na ginawa natin, na in-advertise natin na ang gagawin natin noong April 12 is comparative study. Pero ang daming nagtatanong sa akin, nag-chat din sa akin, sabi na, napanood ko yung debate ninyo. So, yung word na debate, yan ang common understanding. Yung linagay natin doon, hindi debate kundi comparative study. Pero ang common understanding is, yung comparative study is actually debate. At saka maging si binanggit nga rin ni Brother Balansag Jr. doon na debate na yun eh. Ha? At saka kahit itanong mo yan sa mga nanonood, debate talaga yan. Kahit tawagin mo man siya yan na na comparative study, ang tingin nila talaga debate. Ganon din yun sa non-combatant at saka yung parang pacifist. Although the word pacifist did not exist at that time, but the concept of pacifism already exists, which is non-participation in acts of war. Kahit pa doon sa medical, nag-exist yun. And that it still falls under the category of non-combatant. Yun po ang dapat natin na tandaan. Kaya, alam nyo kung ano ang nangyari. Noong First World War, yung mga reformers na total non-combatant o total consensus objection ang kanilang view, yung mga writers na nag-describe sa kanila, ginagamit nila yon. They are either called pacifists or they are called non-combatant. Kasi yung pacifist view nila, pasok kasi doon sa kategory ng non-combatant. Okay, ganun po yan. Bakit pasok? Kasi non-combatant hindi sumasari sa combat. Okay, fighting, patayan. Yung pacifist hindi rin sumasali sa patayan. Kaya parehas lang na non-combatant in that sense. Okay. Magbigay ako ng evidence na itong mga non-combatant ay matatawag din na pacifist. Okay? In actual practice, no? Dito sa protocol, page 31, yung document ng SDA na sila yung sumulat, silang nag-publish, sabi dito, there were some in the USA who, as soon as we took our position as non-combatants, said, this means that I have nothing to do with the war. I shall not go into the camp when I am called up. So the soldiers had to arrest them and bring them into the barracks. They did not offer any resistance. When the truck came into the camp, they have to lift them out of it. Then they were given a uniform. Binigyan niyang uniform. The authorities then put them in a cell, but they did not want to make their bed or sweep the floor. Siguro Sabado kasi yun. No? They accept food, but did not go any further. They wanted to fight their idea of non-combatants, and we allowed them. It means that if there was this was their conviction, then well and good. So merong mga tao na ang conviction nila sa non-combatant, pag non-combatant ka, is hindi ka talaga sasama. Kung na-draft ka at pinilit ka, pagdating mo doon, kakain ka lang. Kung sa ibang araw, pag lilinisin ka, maglilinis ka. Pero, pag Sabado, pag pinaglilinis ka, hindi ka maglilinis kasi bawal nga ng Sabat eh. Mag-igib ka ng tubig. Araw ng Sabat, hindi nila gagawin yun. Okay. Yan po ang that is the very idea of a pacifist. But that idea of a pacifist still fall under the category of non-combatant pa rin as far as government classification is concerned. Even if your belief is pacifism, but when you go to the government, you will still be classified as non-combatant because there is no classification in the law at that time for pacifists. Dalawa lang, combatant or non-combatant. So if you are a pacifist, you is still under the category of non-combatant. Okay. Okay, kaya tingnan mo dito ang iba Sabbath Watchman, September to October 2014, page 2. Ito po ang nakasulat. With the exception of the presentation by our brethren, there was only one mention in the entire Institute of Adventist Studies Symposium held at Fredenshaw Adventist University in May 2014 about the disfellowshipment of faithful SDA members during World War I. That was in Ronald Lawson's presentation, where he stated that the pacifist opposition was disfellowship because the German SDA Church needed to reduce their tension with the state and therefore had to discard those who insisted on maintaining high tension. Itong publication na ito na Sabbath Watchman, dito September to October, ito yung nag-cover doon sa symposium, doon sa yung centennial celebration ng ang tawag dito, First World War, 1914, centennial celebration, kaya 2014. Yung mga scholars nagpunta doon, okay? Pati yung mga galing sa IMS, yung representative ng ISDAM, walang dumating. Tapos may isang scholar doon na nag-present. Ang pangalan niya is si Ronald Lawson. Sa presentation niya, sinabi niya, dinescribe niya yung 2% na hindi, instead of calling them non-combatant, he called them pacifist opposition. Pacifist sila. But they still fall under the category of non-combatant. Sa kanya, pacifist sila. Pero ito dito naman sa sulat naman ni C.H. Watson. Sino si C.H. Watson? Siya yung former president ng SDA Church. Doon naman sa kanyang circular letter, instead of pacifist minority ang tawag naman niya ay non-combatant minority. Yung disfellowship, sabi niya, there was in Germany and those other countries concerned a minority of our believers who refused to follow the leadership of Conradi and others into combatant participation in the war. These were subjected to much suffering at the hands of their government because of their stand. In Germany, those who took their stand against Conrad's wicked action in thus committing them to war were treated with great harshness by Conrad and his associates. The resistance of the minority to military service threatened to compromise the whole body of Adventists in the eyes of the German government. To avoid this, Conrad had the minority disfellowship from the church. Anong tawag niya sa minority? Thus, the non-combatant minority was forced out of the church in the country. Pero ang term naman na ginamit ng isang SDA scholar, sa kanya, instead of calling them non-combatant minority, ano ang tawag naman niya sa kanila? Pacifist opposition. Kaya that shows to us na yung idea talaga ng pacifist at saka non-combatant, pacifist come under the category of non-combatant. Yon po ang dapat nating maintindihan. Ngayon, merong sinasabi si Brother Bracey na pagka-pacifist, hindi daw talaga humahawak ng baril. Hindi daw talaga humahawak. Ang combatant, pwedeng hindi rin humahawak ng baril, na pangpatay. Pero pwedeng sumali sa mga training. No? Pero yung pacifist, hindi daw talaga humahawak siya ng baril. Kahit sa panahon ng training, kung napilitan man siya na nandun, wala siyang choice na nandun na, ay hindi talaga siya humahawak ng baril. Pero yung idea pala ng hindi humawak sa baril, hindi yung hindi humawak na actual, na literal sa panahon ng training. Halimbawa, nagdi-drill, hawak mo baril na literal. Hindi yon pala ang idea ng pacifist. Hindi ka lang gumamit ng baril na actual para pumatay ng tao. Pero kung sa training lang, pwede kang humawak. Anong ebidensya natin na ang pacifist ay pwede pala na humawak ng baril sa panahon ng training? Okay? Eto, yung binigay niya na example, eto si ano bang pangalan nito? Si Franz Hazel. Na binigay niya na non-combatant. Example ng isang non-combatant na pumunta doon, recruit, pero hindi pumatay ng tao. Pacifist pala yun. Basahin natin. Sabi dito sa binigay niya na slide, "What would you do if you were drafted into the Nazi army? Such a dilemma happened in 1939 to Franz Hazel, father of 3 and devout Seventh-day Adventists. A summons from the draft board arrived at his farmhouse to present himself at the recruitment office in Frankfurt the following Monday. Although he was a pacifist and could not carry a gun, Hazel committed himself to follow God no matter what. He requested to be assigned to the medical corps, but was assigned to the Pioneer Company 699 that built roads, bridges, and fortifications at the front line." Okay. So, di ba yung non-combatant, doon lang daw sila available, no? Okay. Sabi dito, he knew that either he must obey the regime or he and his family would be sent to Dachau concentration camp. This was in 1939. So, pumunta siya, sinumon siya, pumunta siya doon. Nakipag-training. Pacifist siya. Sabi dito, pacifist Totoo ba na hindi siya humawak ng literal na baril? Humawak. Okay. Ano ang ebidensya? Nandito rin ang ebidensya doon sa keynote niya sa PowerPoint presentation ni brother. Sabi dito, during boot camp training in 1941, just before the company entered Russia, Hazel proved to be especially good at target practice. So nagpa-practice talaga ng sharp shooting. Nagpa-practice, actual na yan, hindi wooden gun. Talagang literal na gun, nagpa-practice siya. He soon became known as the sharpshooter of the company. Sa kapapractice niya, siya pala ang nag-excel sa sharpshooting, naging champion doon sa kanyang company. This a man who refused to carry a gun. How would he react when faced with an enemy soldier? He then remembered his promise to God not to take another man's life. Since he didn't want to use his sharpshooter skills to kill, he had to come up with a plan. He found a piece of wood and carved it into the shape of a revolver handle. Then he used shoe polish to paint it black and the same color as his revolver. Later that night, he slipped outside to a small lake nearby. Under the cover of darkness, Hazel tossed his weapon into the water, yung real na weapon, and replaced it with the fake wooden handle in his black leather holster. Private First Class Hazel was headed to the Russian front with a wooden gun. Okay. Ibig sabihin, pagdating doon sa practice, nagpa-practice din. Gumagamit ng humahawak ng actual na baril. Sa practice lang. Pero ang pacifist, hindi lang pwedeng gumamit ng baril para pumatay ng tao. Pero sa training lang, pwede. O, yun. Kaya, yun po ang doon. A pacifist can do that. Ayun na ganyan. Pero merong mas stricto na pacifist. Kahit dalhin nila talaga doon, hindi talaga siya humawak ng literal na baril. At may record po tayo na itong mga non-combatant na kapatid natin nung First World War na nabilong sa 2%. May mga stories po sa kanilang karanasan na dinala sila doon, talagang binibigyan ng baril, ayaw talaga nilang humawak ng baril. Okay. Pero kung pangbibigyan ng kahoy, pwedeng humawak ng kahoy, wooden. Kagaya kami, nung ROTC training namin ako'y sumama sa training, sa drill, pero yung hawak namin is wooden gun. Pero nag-marching din ako noon. Okay. So, hindi naman yon prohibited. Kasi walang violation sa law of God kung sumama ka lang doon sa training. Ayun ang naintindihan ko na prinsipyo ng Islam, no? Sa consensually opposed to bearing arms. O sa sumama sa training, pero hanggang marching lang, walang shooting. Okay. Pero kung sumama sa gira, that is another story. Hindi po sumasama ang tunay na Seventh-day Adventist sa gira, kasi pagdating doon sa gira, kung anuman halimbawa, ikaw ay armor bearer. Halimbawa, yung kasama mo, siya yung talagang humahawak ng baril. Paano kung ikaw naman ang tagabigay ng ammunition, tagabigay ng bala? Okay? Tagabigay ka ng bala, tagaputok naman yung kasama mo. Magkakasala ka pa rin yun kasi partner in crime kayo. Oh. Kung ikaw ang driver na nagdadala ng ammunition, that is still you are a partner in crime. Yun po mga kapatid. Kaya talagang bawal na sumama sa gira. Yun po ang ino-objectan natin mga kapatid. Okay, tandaan natin po yan. So, ito ang tandaan natin. Hindi mahalaga kung non-combatant or pacifist ang itatawag sa stand ng SDA Church noon. What matters is we understand that they decline all participation in war and bloodshed, and they are conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Ngunit ang kasalukuyang SDA Church, sa ngayon, they no longer decline all participation in war and bloodshed. They are no longer conscientiously opposed to bearing arms. Dahil tinalikuran na nila ito. Tinalikuran nila ang essence ng kanilang ng stand ng SDA to decline all participation in war and bloodshed noong First World War. The General Conference allowed them, they allowed them to choose whether they can be combatant, they can be non-combatant, and they can be total consensus objection. Tatlo na yon, pinayagan nila yon. Okay. Sa kaya tinalikuran nila yung dati na doktrina na non-participation in war. Kasi pinapayagan nila yung yung combatant. Yan po ang hindi matatawaran. And marami tayong ebidensya na nung Second World War, talaga namang maraming Seventh-day Adventist po ang pumunta sa gira as combatant. And the church did not do anything about them. The church supported them. Sa First World War, Second World War, sinuportahan nila ang combatancy ng kanilang mga members. Kasi yung decision nila noon, walang madidisfellowship because meron silang doktrina ng freedom of conscience o liberty of conscience. You can do anything basta yan ay accepted ng iyong konsensya. Kahit makalabag ka pa, kahit pumatay ka ng marami, kung yan ang dikta ng konsensya mo, sabi ng Seventh-day Adventist na hulog, pwede pa rin yan. Kaya hindi nila pwedeng gamitin na depensa yung non-combatant. We are non-combatant, we are non-combatant. We are not combatant, but in practice, they are actually combatant. They also non-combatant din, pero sinasanksyon nila yung dalawa. Kaya yung doktrina nila ngayon, diluted truth and error. Okay? Nagsama po yon, and that is poison or deception. Okay? Yan po ang tandaan natin. Kaya kahit sinasabi ng SDA General Conference noong World War I na non-combatant pa rin ang kanilang aral, at sabi na nila ngayon na hanggang ngayon non-combatant pa rin, ngunit pinapayagan nila ang mga members na sumali sa digmaan as combatant mula noong World War I, provided na yan ang dikta ng kanilang konsensya. Kaya mula noon hanggang ngayon ay hindi test of fellowship ang combatancy sa kasalukuyang SDA Church. Kahit in time of peace, kung yung mga sundalo nila, pulis nila, kung pumatay, that is still acceptable sa kanila. Kasi nga, tumalikod sila doon sa dating doktrina noong una pa. Ayan. So, ito ang malaking patunay na totoong tumalikod ang kasalukuyang SDA Church sa katotohanan. Ito ay kaakibat ng kanilang maling aral na in time of war ay hindi violation of the 6th and 4th commandment ang pagpatay ng tao at paggawa ng military duty on Sabbath days. Yon kasi ang inadapt nila. At saka yung pagbibigay nila ng liberty of conscience for their members to exercise their conscience even in violation of the law of God. Yun po ang proof of their apostasy, mga kapatid. So, sana nagiging malinaw po ito. Yung portion noon na hindi nalinaw during the question and answer, I hope na nilinaw ko po ito. So, meaning, doon sa mga nanood, kung mapanood ninyo ito, na nalinaw ko na yung aking gawain ay nagampanan ko na. My duty to clarify and answer question, I think I have already fulfilled my duty. So, kayo na po ang bahala na mag-decide doon. Comparative study ito. Kung gusto nyo yung doctrine ng SDA, freedom of conscience, you are free to choose that. Kung yun ang gusto nyo, then go ahead, you are free. Yun namang gusto na sumunod dito sa original doktrina, that is our choice also. So, everyone will have to make a choice. Ang importante ay both sides have been presented so that everyone will have a sufficient knowledge to make their intelligent decision. And remember, our choice today between these two opposing positions will determine whether we will pass in the judgment of God or not. Ano man ang magiging hatol ng Panginoon sa atin, sino ang tatanggapin at itatakwil is we have to accept the consequence of our choice. Thank you very much.